Hey guys, we're going to be in John chapter 5. John chapter 5. Won't be able to spend the entire time talking about this amazing story, but I do want to emphasize one verse and then talk through it just a little bit. It says, verse 3 says, "In these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, blind and halt and withered, and waiting for the movement of the water." It's an amazing story, and there are all sorts of scholars who debate exactly what this means and what this story is about. I believe it for every word it says. I'm not saying other scholars don't believe it in some sense, but whether or not, they believe it's a supernatural thing of God, or if this was superstition of the day, they believed in other miracles. I believe this was a miracle that God had set up, just a miracle of grace. Now, obviously, Jesus is about to do something big. You say, well, Ryan, what's happening here? There was a pool of Bethesda that basically, it was in the sense that people would lay around it that needed to be healed, would wait for an angel to stir those waters at some point, would stir those waters. The first one into those waters would be healed. Now, for those that were completely lame, it would be a terribly hard situation for them to get into that water. Jesus sees a man that's been laying there for decades. All right, apparently a family bringing him there, laying him beside those waters. He can't get in there. He asks him, "Do you want to be made whole?" That's a whole different study, so I'm not gonna go there today. But man says, "Well, I can't get in there anyway." Jesus says, "Well, I'm going to heal you right now," and he does. But this verse talks about the fact that they were blind, they were halt, they were withered, and they were waiting on the stirring of the water. Do we realize that in this broken world, that we go to work with them, that we even go to church with them sometimes and they just don't know Christ yet, but we go to work with them, we're out and about with them, we walk through hospitals and see them. We walk through stores, even Walmart, wherever it may be, and we encounter people. We go about our business. It's weird to just kind of get in people's business or begin to just talk randomly to a stranger. But if we just knew that all of them are spiritually sitting around the water, waiting on the stirring of the water, waiting on an answer to something that's going on in their life, waiting on an answer to something that's happening physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or financially. They're looking for something that they don't even know what they're looking for. All they want is to experience the stirring of the water, and even when that water stirs, to be able to get in that water. Here's the thing: Jesus is the living water. And what we need to do is, these blind, halt, withered, beaten up, battered people in this world, including ourselves sometimes, is we need to point out that the living water is constantly stirred, and the living water is reaching out to grab hold of anyone who wishes to be healed in so many different ways. They don't have to wait to be placed in that water. They can be placed in that water as soon as they choose to follow Jesus Christ and submit to him. There's so many hurting. There's so many needing Jesus. Why don't we point them to the water that always stirs? Love you guys. Bye-bye.